What's up guys, welcome back to yet another video. I'm super excited to share this one with you guys today. So it's going to be another student accommodation analysis, and I've received a request from a subscriber with the name Isaac, and he asked me if I can help him to analyze a specific student accommodation deal. And I think it's in Potchefstroom, close to the Northwest University. So if you aren't interested in property analysis or anything like that, this video is definitely not for you. If you are, try to follow along and hopefully you can learn a few things. So before we go ahead, just want to make one thing clear, and that is that I currently don't own any student accommodation. So I am definitely willing to invest in student accommodation if the right opportunity comes, but at the moment I am not a student accommodation investor. Although I don't own any student accommodation as of yet, I do have a mentor and a friend that has taught me quite a bit about student accommodation, and like I said, I'm definitely willing to invest in the property if the right deal comes. Student accommodation is a great way to generate passive income. A lot of people that's starting out want to invest in cash flowing deals, and that is a great strategy to follow, because you can ultimately grow your portfolio much quicker than investing in properties that might be costing you money each and every month. So our goal today is to see if this specific property is a good cash flow deal and whether it's worth investing for this person that sent me this specific deal. So another thing that we need to keep in mind is that student accommodation can definitely be a cash flow positive deal, but there's also quite a lot of other stuff that we need to keep in mind, and student accommodation itself is definitely more hands-on than, let's say for example, a normal buy to rent property like a residential property. And students tend to kind of damage properties a bit more than your normal tenant would. With that said, it just helps to have the right team on your side. So if you have a good agent, good contractors, and maybe a cleaning team that can help you keep the property in good shape, that will help you out a lot. So with that said, let's jump into the deal. He sent me the deal on Instagram and I've saved it. So this will be the first time that I'm viewing the property. Already I can see that it's quite an expensive property. It's listed for almost R1 million, and this is 985,000 Rand for a 51 square meter, two bedroom, one bathroom property. So straight away I can see that it looks quite nice. So what we'll do is we'll quickly just browse through the photos to get a look and feel of the property. And the complex is Botanica, so straight away we can see it looks very nice. I mean, this looks like a Cape Town flat almost. So I would personally like to stay here as a student. It looks very nice. There's definitely not a lot of work to be done here, if any. And that's why we pay a premium for properties like these. You should know if a property has naked bulbs that they are not playing around. No, I'm joking. So here we can see the living areas downstairs, then the kitchen as well, and then obviously the bathroom. So like I said, everything looks quite neat. Here we can see that we go upstairs to get to the rooms. Yeah, okay, so what I hate it when agents do this. So this is listed as a 2-bedroom property, but technically it was a 1-bedroom that was converted into a 2-bedroom. I have to say they've done it quite neatly, and dividing the rooms like this is very smart to get more students in one property. So here we can see they divided the 2 rooms with these panels. It looks very nice. The only thing that bothers me is that the first student, if he comes up the stairs, let's say we go up the stairs here and we walk into this room, the second student will have to pass through the first student's room to get to his own room, and that kind of takes away a bit of the privacy for the first student, or actually both of the students. And definitely because the bathroom is downstairs, there will be a lot of up and down, and the kitchen and stuff obviously as well. So although this looks very nice, personally this is something that will bother me, especially if I want to pay a premium amount every month. Otherwise, the property is in a really good condition and we can't really complain about the other stuff. So there will be one parking, and yeah. So another thing that I just noticed is that there's quite a lot of for sale and for rent or to rent boards outside, which can mean that they are struggling to rent out these rooms, or that some of the investors are trying to sell these properties, like this person, for example. Before we go ahead, I just want to check what we are paying for this property, and like I said, for 51 square meters, paying 985,000 Rand is quite expensive. Here we can see that we are paying around 20,000 Rand per square meter. So for student accommodation, that's very expensive. And this is definitely something that we can use to compare other student accommodations to this property. The next thing we can do is to check how far this is from the university, and luckily they shared the street address, which makes my job much easier. And here we can see the property is over here. Okay, so already we can see Northwest University is really close by to this block of flats. Let's just type in here Northwest University. So this will obviously be using a car. Okay, so it takes us to a different gate, and this is about 900 meters, which is quite close. So if we would walk to this gate, it would definitely be around like 400 meters or whatever. So it's definitely close to the university, and it makes sense why it is so expensive. So what we want to do next is we kind of need to figure out what is the strategy that we are going to follow. So we can either use NSFAS students, in other words, bursary students, that we can put into the flat. I personally think this won't work because of the size of the flat, and there's a lot of disadvantages to using an NSFAS student instead of a cash paying student. Obviously there's advantages as well. Some of the disadvantages is that you as the investor will have to carry the expenses of the property for a few months before the student gets paid its bursary. And I know in Bloemfontein, the previous year's private accommodation budget was around 34,400 Rand per student per year. And what this ultimately means is, let's say 30,400 divided by, the student will be living there for, let's say, 10 months. So their budget for the year is, or the budget for each month is 3,440 Rand. And if I use, let's say for example, one student pays 3,440 and we put in two students, they will be paying 6,880. And already this doesn't pass the 1% rule, meaning if the amount of rent is not 1% of the listing value, the deal will probably not cash flow. So just a quick calculation, it doesn't seem like it will be working. But obviously, because this is a premium property, we will probably be aiming for a upper class, or let's say a student that has more money. This sounds very weird, but let's just go with that. So instead of putting 3 or 4 students in this property, I would rather try to put 2 premium students in this accommodation. Okay, so what we can do to see what is the amount of rent other competitors are charging the students, we can actually go on Property 24, go to the to rent tab, and see if we can find the exact property. So what I've done is I've quickly just searched for a property, and luckily we found the exact property also in Botanica. It shows that this is a 35 square meter one bedroom flat. And this is, funny enough, I think this is what the property looked like. This is exactly the same property. And what this guy has done is he extended one part of the building, which adds a additional, let's say, 16 square meters of a bedroom, so basically an extra bedroom. So here we can see a one bedroom flat, the exact same property. This one might not be as nice as the other one, but this specific property is listing for 5,760 Rand for the whole entire building. So what I would say is I would use an average and charge each student a bit less than this, and then obviously they have their own room. So let's say, for example, 5,760 times 2 is 11. Oh, that's too much. So I would say we can rent one room for 5,000 Rand per student, if this is obviously a cash student. So this property looks nicer, and it's definitely better looking. So I think we can estimate this as 5,000 Rand per room. And in my opinion, this is still kind of pushing it, because if I want to pay 5,000 Rand a month for a student accommodation room, I would like my own privacy. And this specifically doesn't necessarily fulfill that. So I'm going to jump to my Excel sheet, the same one as previously, and I'll share this with you guys in the link down below. So what we'll do is we'll type in all of the relevant information. So this property is Botanica. The property value, it was listed for 985,000, and this is quite a premium amount for such a property. And the problem with these type of properties is that we can't necessarily negotiate a huge discount, because technically there's no work that needs to be done with this property. What I would say we can do is to push for a 5% discount. So let's say 5% discount would be 935,750. So automatically we sit with the equity position of 50,000 Rand, which isn't too bad in this case. And I think we would be happy if we can get this type of discount. Next, what we need to do is we need to figure out what we are able to charge for rent. And like we said, we will be using 5,000 Rand per student. And this is just an initial amount that we are using to estimate what the deal would look like. We can either go cash students or NSFAS students. In my opinion, an NSFAS student won't be able to live here. And I've seen a lot of investors take a very small space and put like 4 or 5 people in that room. And in my opinion, I don't want to put a student in a small space next to another student and still charge them a premium amount. So for this property, we will be using 5,000 rent. So 2 students is 10,000 Rand. Next, what we need to do is we need to figure out all of our expenses. And let's say we'll do a 30-year bond. The amount would be with 5% discount, lowest interest rate. So that would be 6,703 Rand. The levies will be, it's quite high for such a small place, but obviously it's premium property, it's 1,000 Rand. The rates and taxes is 400 Rand. And then commission, what I use is 10%, which is a decent amount for a good agent, and 10% of 10,000 Rand would be 1,000 Rand. Vacancy, we will be working on 15% or 8 weeks. And this is basically a good amount to go with. So this 1,538 Rand. Repairs, I will add 10% as well. So that would be 1,000 Rand. And the thing is, with these type of property or student accommodation, we need to pay water and electricity and we need to include Wi-Fi for the students. So we can estimate Wi-Fi for 2 students, let's say around $700. Water, electricity, we can estimate on 350 Rand per student, so this will be 700 Rand. So already here we can see that our monthly operating expense ratio is 130, so it's 30% more than our actual income. And this already shows that it's not going to work, not with this specific income. So here we can see the cash flow amount is minus 3,000 Rand. The last step is to check the bond transfer cost, and this will be around, let's say, 60,000 Rand. And this gives us a negative return on investment of 61%. In other words, this deal will cost you 3,000 Rand each and every month if we use the data that we put in here. And this is just a quick explanation to show you guys that not all student accommodation is cash flow positive. It all depends on the location, it all depends on the purchase price, and it all depends on the income that you can generate from that property. In my opinion, if we go back to this deal, it's just the asking price is way too much, and the size of the property is way too small. So what other investors do is they try to put in 2 students in one room. So let's say, for example, because it's still a premium property, we can ask a student 3,000 Rand per bed, per room. So we can put 4 students in this property, 2 in this bedroom, 2 in the other bedroom. So that would be 12,000 Rand. If our income changes to 12,000 Rand and our commission changes to 1,200 Rand, our repairs changes to 1,200 Rand, we will still sit with a negative cash flow of 1,749 Rand. In my opinion, I don't necessarily think that this is a very good deal. And like I said, not all student accommodation is a good investment. I'll attach this file in the description, and you can see if you can do your own analysis on this property and decide for yourself. Maybe you can change some of the numbers, maybe you can put in a lower offer, maybe you can try to get more rental income on this property. And yeah, I don't want to mumble, but basically the reason this property won't work is because it's too nice to get a lower price on this property. So if we can get this property, say, for 800,000 Rand, it might work, but in this case it won't. So with that said, thank you guys for staying until the end. I hope that this can help you. If it did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.